last of the sun slides past the brick, a window full of copper light. The Pearl District settles into stillness, and evening comes before the night. I found a table by the glass, where potted ferns divide the haze. The barista sets a cortado down and disappears into the glaze. Outside the NW 13th is quiet now. A cyclist drifts without a sound. I open up my notebook to a blank and let the summer heat unwind. The ceiling fan turns slow and soft. The last lunch crowd has found the door. A dog sleeps near the counter stool. I could not ask for anything more. The light has shifted amber now. The record on the shelf just spins. I write a line, then cross it out, and watch the evening gently win. The ice in someone's glass clicks once. A page turns somewhere in the back. The whole long day I carried here is softened to a pleasant lack. The city hums beyond the pane. The first and dark above the roofs. I rest my cheek against my hand and let go of the need for proof. This is the hour I come back to when the week is loud and long. A window seat in Portland light, a slow and unhurried song. The cortado cools beside my pen. I do not check the time. The summer evening holds me here, and everything is fine. The copper light has left the room. The lamps come on one by one. I gather nothing, stay a while. The day is almost done. The guitar came through the open door before I even found my seat. A string plucked soft and deliberate, like morning learning how to be. The Burnside Bridge is in the mist. A heron stands on a concrete post. I wrap my palms around the cup and let the city do the most. The bookshop down the block is dark, its window thick with spines and dust. I take the long way every time because I find I always must. An upright bass comes through the speakers, round and warm against the room. The barista hums a half a bar and disappears into the gloom. Just the rain on Morrison, just the espresso, just the chair, just the Willamette below the fog, just this quiet morning air. A regular sits at the bar. She reads the same 3 pages twice. Outside the Max train hums its route, and everything is cool as ice. I peel the label off my cup and fold it without knowing why. The guitar solo fills the space between the ceiling and the sky. The street outside is waking slow, a delivery truck, a shutting door. I have no plans I have to keep, and that is what the morning's for. The mist has lifted off the bridge, the heron's gone to find the shore. I order one more thing to drink and stay an hour more. The road comes in before the words, a key that rings and then dissolves. I chose this table for the light and for the way the evening evolves. The NW Thurman storefronts dim, one by one as dusk moves in. The vintage lamp on my left glows, a warm and amber discipline. The synth pad underneath the keys is thin and wide as open skies. Someone left a novel here with a bookmark where the story dies. The soft jazz snare taps twice, a beat like a finger on a wooden frame. I came in here a different person, and I leave here just the same. The roads know something words do not, a note that lasts beyond its press. It rings inside the ribcage long after all the words confess. The pearl is lit with patio lights. The dinner crowd begins to flow. I have not moved from this one chair, and I do not want to go. The synth has settled into hum, the vocals drift above the keys. The summer dark is full and warm, and I am put completely at ease. The espresso machine steams once, then hissing silence fills the room. A couple leaves, their chairs pushed in, soft echoes in the half-lit gloom. The melody returns again, not quite the same as it began. The roads is patient, slow and warm, the way that Portland understands. The street outside holds golden squares from restaurants that line the block. I breathe in and I breathe out and do not need to watch the clock. The synth dissolves, the keys ring on, a last note hangs above the bar. I close my eyes, the room holds still, and Portland is where we are. The kalimba rings one note at a time, deliberate as water drops on the stone. The sparse piano answers from below, and I am glad to be alone. The Hawthorne neighborhood is soft with damp, the window streaks with summer rain. Someone's reading poetry 2 seats away, and not a thing requires explain. The percussion settles gentle, understated, a brush across a wooden floor. The espresso here is earthy, slow. I let it linger more. The rain outside plays its own rhythm against the glass, against the pave. The kalimba floats above the beat, like a note that knows how to behave. I think about the week that passed, the meeting's noise, the things unsaid. But in this corner of hawthorn, I can set them down instead. The sparse piano holds a chord and lets it open, lets it spread. The room is quiet with intention, and my mind is finally fed. What is it I come here looking for? The coffee, yes, but also this. A corner where the world forgets me, and I can sit inside the bliss. The rain that falls on Hawthorne Bridge falls soft on everything the same, on the bookshop and the record store, and my untroublesome ordinary name. I am not looking for an answer, I am learning how to rest. This humble corner cafe table is the place I feel the best. The rain is slow to nothing now. The kalimba plays its last. I gather up my quiet here and carry it on past. The record shop and the coffee share a wall, and on this side I am right where I belong. The full ensemble settles into fall, and the afternoon becomes my favorite song. The Pearl District outside is lit and wide, but in here the muted trumpet says it all. Couch Street bends into the pearl like a long exhale. The trumpet drifts from somewhere in the back, like afternoon deciding what to choose. And nothing here is coming off its track. The bass is round and easy on the floor. The acoustic guitar strums a lazy chord. Someone flips to track side 4, and the day becomes its own reward. I hold the cup now, warm enough, and read the liner notes in full detail. The brush drums follow it back home, and everything resumes without fail. The muted trumpet does a thing alone. 4 bars of amber in the room. The piano takes the afternoon and holds it open, loose and underneath like patience. Nobody in a hurry to go. Outside, two pigeons argue briefly on the windowsill and then depart. The barista laughs at something private, and for a moment it is art. The ensemble plays as if they mean it, as if the room were theirs to keep. I lean back in the wicker chair, not awake and not asleep. The trumpet drops below the guitar. The bass holds steady through the change. The record in the other room is ending, and everything stays beautifully strange. The record shop and cafe share a wall, and I am glad I found this corner. The afternoon has gone to dusk. The music makes me something warmer. The cup is empty, I turn it over. The afternoon has gone to dusk. The record shop is closing early, and I trust. The rain has just stopped on Morrison. The sidewalk shines a deep and silver gray. I came in dripping and I stayed, and that is how I lost the day. The warm piano settles in, like coming home to a familiar hall. The vinyl crackle underneath the chords is all I needed most of all. The mellow guitar leans on the beat, like leaning on a trusted friend. The afternoon that felt so long is rounding now toward its end. The coffee here is dark and honest. No fuss, no foam, just roast and heat. I wrap the cup inside my palms and feel the rainy city on my feet. The guitar fills the pause alone, a moment between the verse and rest. I have not solved a single thing, and I confess I feel my best. The piano answers low and warm. The vinyl pops once in the groove. The whole slow shape of this long hour is all the proof I need to move. The brush drums measure out the quiet, each stroke a small permission given. The street outside dries its puddles and the pigeons are already risen. The window seat I claimed at noon has held me like a patient hand. The warm piano knows this feeling the way this city understands. A saxophone from somewhere distant floats in through a cracked open frame. the last line that I meant to. Set down my pen without a sound. The rain is gone, the evening rises, and I have finally found my ground. The final crackle slows its pace. The piano plays its final phrase. I leave a tip, I leave my corner, and step back into the haze. Out there, the Alberta murals bright with summer. In here, the low light and the hum. The door swings shut and muffles everything, and I come back to what I've come from. The acoustic guitar, something true, a note I've heard before, but not like this. The upright bass below, it's steady, gives the evening all it needs for bliss. Alberta Arts District at 6 o'clock, the galleries are lit and open wide, but I am in the coffee corner, watching the last of the day subside. The room ambience holds us gently, the faint domestic sounds of afternoon. A chai being made, a spoon set down, a couple whispering in their own cocoon. The guitar takes a long and winding turn through chords that feel like looking back. The bass marks time below it patiently and keeps the melody on track. I think about the murals I pass, the fist raised up, the garden painted blue. The city is so full of voices, and I come here to hear the few. The light snare rolls beneath the groove, so soft it might be nothing at all. The upright bass lands on the one and holds the room before the fall. There is a kind of contrast I come back to, the loud street and the quiet seat, the mural and the white bare wall, the city noise and the lo-fi beat. Alberta taught me something young, that beauty lives in the in-between, the gallery and the corner table, both part of the same long dream. I do not need to choose between them, I only need to know I'm here. The guitar finishes its wondering, and everything becomes more clear. The bass walks one last time around, the guitar rests against the bar. I push the door back to the murals, and there I am, right where we are. The rose electric piano opens wide, a chord that stretches long and lets go slow. The synth pad underneath it breathes with patience, the way the Willamette below will flow. The soft jazz drums coming on the second beat, a whisper through a wooden beaded screen. A steel bridge carries bikes above the river, and I am somewhere in history stacks cups along the shelf, a ritual I don't want to forget. The rose returns to where it started, a minor chord that lasts a second long and opens to the major on the turn, and everything resolves into the song. The steel bridge paint is rust and orange against the pale gray Oregon sky. The synth pad swells and then recedes, like something deciding not to try. The jazz drums brush the ride with intention, marking time without demanding much. The river holds the bridge and holds the city, and I trust. Between the lunch and dinner hour, the city catches its own breath. No one is rushing anywhere, the only urgency is rest. The road rolls over to a new key, the pad expands into the room. The steel bridge in the window floats between the afternoon and gloom. The scent dissolves into silence slowly. The drums pull back to just the brush. The road holds one note, long and steady, and I release without a rush. The kalimba counts the drops against the window, one note for each that finds the sill. The sparse piano underneath it murmurs, and the gentle percussion holds us still. The Kearns neighborhood in early evening, the taqueria sign across the street glows pink. The rain has turned the pavement into mirrors, and I do not know what to think. The rain ambience fills the quiet corners, a white noise lullaby between the songs. The barista makes a pour over at the counter, and everything takes as long as it takes long. The kalimba plays alone, the rain plays alone, the Kern streets play alone, and I am here, not alone. The sparse piano places notes with spacing, each one allowed to ring before the next. I came in here to think through something heavy, and instead I let myself be perplexed. The gentle percussion taps the sill with patience, no hurry, no resolve, no need to land. The Kearns rain maps the language on the window, and I am learning how to understand. The kalimba floats above the atmosphere, a sound as light as what it means to rest. The rain outside does not stop for my questions, and that might be what I love best. The question I came with is still unanswered. and I let go my grip. The pearl is lit at night from every loft, warm squares above the street like small TVs. The cafe pulls the curtain half across, and I am looking out through filtered ease. The piano opens with the full ensemble, each instrument already in its lane. The muted trumpet traces the melody above the brush drums, above the rain. I got here early for the window seat, and it was worth the extra walk tonight. The upright bass is round and warm below, and everything is bathed in amber light. The acoustic guitars behind the trumpet, a steady rhythmic structure in the dark. The pearl at night has its own kind of grammar, and I am learning now its smallest mark. The ensemble plays without a leader, each voice giving space to every other. The trumpet softens on the final bar, the bass holds the chord like something further. The loft lights dim across the street one by one. The night is full and warm and sure. The piano rolls one final time across the keys, and I know what I came here for. The brush drums pull the tempo slightly under, a dragging swing that feels like staying late. The muted trumpet blows a half note lower, and the room rearranges into great. The upright bass walks its familiar pattern, but this late it feels more like a prayer. The acoustic guitar punctuates the space between the notes. Just breathe and air. The pearl is quiet now, except for us, the late night stragglers and the warm machine. The piano closes in on something steady, the most familiar sound I've ever seen. The trumpet plays its last note to the ceiling, and we all agree to let it float. The ensemble settles into nothing slowly, and the room holds the last note. The curtain is still half across the window, the loft lights mostly dark above the block. The bass walks one more time, then stops, and I do not look at the clock. The pearl is lit at night from every loft, warm squares above the street like small TVs. The cafe pulls the curtain half across, and I am looking out through filtered ease. The piano opens with the full ensemble, each instrument already in its lane. The muted trumpet traces the melody above the brush drums, above the rain. I got here early for the window seat, and it was worth the extra walk tonight. The upright bass is round and warm below, guitar comes behind the trumpet, a steady rhythmic structure in the dark. The pearl at night has its own kind of grammar, and I am learning now its smallest mark. The ensemble plays without a leader, each voice giving space to every other. The trumpet softens on the final bar, the bass holds the chord like something further. The loft lights dim across the street one by one. The night is full and warm and short. The piano rolls one final time across the keys, and I know what I came here for. The brush drums pull the tempo slightly under, a dragon swing that feels like staying late. The muted trumpet blows a half note lower, and the room rearranges into great. The upright bass walks its familiar pattern, but this late it feels more like a prayer. The acoustic guitar punctuates the space between the notes. Just breathe and dare. The pearl is quiet now, except for us, the late night stragglers and the warm machine. The piano closes in on something steady, the most familiar sound I've ever seen. The trumpet plays its last note to the ceiling, and we all agree to let it float. The ensemble settles into nothing slowly, and the room holds the last note. The curtain is still half across the window. The loft lights mostly dark above the block. The bass walks one more time, then stops, and I do not look at the clock. The roses in Lad's edition catch the last of it. The diagonal streets go gold. I cut through the rose garden to find this place, and let the evening take hold. The warm piano knows how evenings end, a chord that fades and then comes back around. The vinyl crackle underneath the melody is the most honest sound. The rose bushes in the roundabouts go deep with evening red and pink. The mellow guitar leans in on the tube and sighs into the chord below. The vinyl pops once, the piano breathes. The roses in the window box are doing what they please. The brush drums find the pocket of the evening and settle there without a second thought. The warm piano opens Tonight's edition is a neighborhood for staying. The diagonal streets pull you toward the center. The rose garden at the heart of all of it is where the softer seasons enter. The mellow guitar plays one more turn around. The vinyl crackles steady at the base. I have been here before in other cities, but this is my favorite place. The rose garden is closing into darkness. The warm piano plays its last refrain. The vinyl crackles slows and then is silent, and I'll be back again. The mist is low above the West Hills. The NW 23rd still wrapped in gray. The coffee shop lights come on one by one, and here is where I'll spend the early day. The NW 23rd is still in mourning. The boutiques dark behind their glass. The barista grinds the first shot of the day, and it will not be the last. The upright bass rolls in beneath the chord, a slow and steady kind of grace. The acoustic guitar continues its inquiry, and I continue finding my place. Room ambience in the NW morning. The hiss of steam, the creak of a wooden stool. Someone's newspaper turned one broadsheet over, and the day remains beautifully cool. The light snare enters on the verse so lightly that I almost miss the beat. The acoustic guitar resolves into the major, and the morning settles into sweet. The NW 23rd outside is brightening. The first delivery van makes its rounds. The barista marks a name on a paper cup and sets it down without any grounds. The upright bass anchors the whole long morning. The acoustic guitar strays but comes back home. The room ambience holds us in its grammar, and I am glad I came alone. There is something about a Monday morning that asks more of me than I have planned, but the acoustic guitar does not need an answer, and the bass helps me understand. The light snare taps its patient rhythm. The NW morning opens like a hand. I close my notebook, done with planning, and let the music take command. The morning shifts from still to moving. The first real foot traffic on the block. The acoustic guitar strings its last notes loosely, and I do not look at the clock. The rose electric piano is already playing something mid-century and slow. The synth pad broadens underneath the melody and gives the afternoon room to grow. The east side bookshop shelves go to the ceiling, biography and fiction side by side. I trail my finger past the spines en route to the counter and take the whole back room in stride. The soft jazz drums tick lightly through the sections like a second hand on a good clock. The barista here has read half the inventory and recommends without a shock. The road pivots to a new key gently. The synth pad shifts with it like weather. I find a table between reference and travel and pile the things I carry all together. The east side rain has started up again against the skylight, soft and white. The jazz drums settle into their long middle, and I stop trying to decide. The synth pad holds its chord for an entire verse. I measure my breathing to the sustain. The roads comes back like a recurring thought, and I'm glad to think it again. This is what the bookshop cafe offers, more than the coffee or the chair. A place to be uncertain about everything and find that you can bear. The soft jazz drums know nothing of my questions, they only know the time. The road's electric piano has no answers, only the next phrase, the next rhyme. I pull the door with both hands when I enter. I will pull it gently when I leave. The books will still be here when I return, and so will I believe. The jazz drums slow to just the brush and cymbal. The road resolves its last open chord. The synth pad holds the room in amber stillness, and I have all I can afford. Coffee cup still warm against my palms. I set it on the window ledge. The Willamette below the Selwood Bridge goes orange at the edge. The kalimba opens with a simple pattern, 8 notes that loop and then extend. The sparse piano places its chord below bridge at sunset holds the river in a color that has no name in English. The gentle percussion taps the after hour without anything to finish. The cafe here is neighborhood and steady. The regulars arrive in ones and twos. The rain ambience hums through the cracked window, and there's nothing left to lose. The kalimba wanders from its pattern slightly, finds a new note, and decides to stay. The sparse piano follows it exactly, one measure behind, as if to say, I'm with you, I'm not in a hurry. Take all the time the river takes. The Selwood neighborhood is settling to evening, and everything remakes. The gentle percussion marks the twilight minutes, each tap a small departure and return. The Willamette below has gone to silver, and the bridge lights start to burn. The sparse piano holds a minor third, then lets it open to the fifth. The kalimba circles back to where it started, and this is not a myth. The Selwood Bridge at dusk is beautiful. Sitting here with hands around a cup and learning how to feel. The bridge lights are reflected in the water. The kalimba plays its final loop. The sparse piano rests below the silence, and I do not need the proof. The piano plays and the muted trumpet answers. Conversation at the end of things. The acoustic guitar holds the chord between them, and the upright bass provides the wings. The Pearl District has given me its evening. The craft beer bars are full and bright. I chose to stay here past the sensible hour, and I am satisfied with that tonight. The brush drums fill the room with patient texture, each stroke an argument for staying late. The full ensemble reaches its consensus, and it is quiet, and it is great. The trumpet plays alone. 4 bars for the city, for the record shops and coffee corners, for everything that's pretty. The acoustic guitar traces the melody. The piano comes below in steady time. The muted trumpet takes the high note softly, and everything ascends one final rhyme. The pearl is loud outside and I have loved it. The restaurants and the galleries and the street, but in this corner where the music ends is where the city is complete. The brush drums give the room a final measure. The upright bass signs off on the long night. The piano plays one chord and holds it open, and I have found what I came here for: light. The full ensemble resolves together. The muted trumpet's last note finds the floor. The acoustic guitar strums one final voicing, and I do not need any more. The piano plays and the muted trumpet answers. A conversation at the end of things. The acoustic guitar holds the chord between them, and the upright bass provides the wings. The Pearl District has given me its evening. The craft beer bars are full and bright. I chose to stay here past the sensible hour, and I am satisfied with that tonight. The brush drums fill the room with patient texture, each stroke an argument for staying late. The full ensemble reaches its consensus, and it is quiet, and it is great. The trumpet plays alone. 4 bars for the city, for the record shops and coffee corners, for everything that's pretty. The acoustic guitar traces the melody. The piano comes below in steady time. The muted trumpet takes the high note softly, and everything ascends one final rhyme. The pearl is loud outside and I have loved it. The restaurants and the galleries and the street, but in this corner where the music ends is where the city is complete. The brush drums give the room a final measure. The upright bass signs off on the long night. The piano plays one chord and holds it open, and I have found what I came here for: light. The full ensemble resolves together. The muted trumpet's last note finds the floor. The acoustic guitar strums one final voicing, and I do not need any more. The piano plays and the music guitar holds the chord between them, and the upright bass provides the wings. The Pearl District has given me its evening. The craft beer bars are full and bright. I chose to stay here past the sensible hour, and I am satisfied with that tonight. The brush drums fill the room with patient texture, each stroke an argument for staying late. The full ensemble reaches its consensus, and it is quiet, and it is great.